Luke turned 42. And one Sunday afternoon, he realized something uncomfortable. Nothing in his life was actually financially safe. He had a house, a car, a job that paid well. But the numbers underneath were quietly telling a different story. When he checked his numbers honestly, the retirement account was thin. And the future suddenly felt more expensive than expected. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't irresponsible. He was just following a system everyone else was following. Then later arrived, and he realized something simple. Time does not wait for financial clarity.
Most people don't fail financially because they earn too little. They fail because their money disappears before they ever see it clearly. And Luke was no exception.
It wasn't one big mistake. It was hundreds of small ones. Every day, quietly repeating itself.
He wasn't building freedom. He was maintaining survival. And he didn't even notice the difference.
Sometimes the hardest moment isn't failure. It's realizing you've been moving for years, but not actually going anywhere. Time doesn't warn you. It doesn't slow down. It just quietly takes everything you don't pay attention to. Your 40s feel safe on the surface, but underneath, most people are financially balancing on glass, and they don't realize it until much later.
The dangerous part about financial decline is that it rarely feels dramatic while it's happening. It just slowly becomes normal.
Most people think more income will solve everything, but lifestyle inflation quietly grows faster than income ever does. That's the real trap. Everybody around him looked successful, but most of them were running the exact same invisible financial race and losing it slowly.
Every raise felt helpful for a moment. Then the lifestyle adjusted, and the pressure quietly returned again. That cycle repeated for years.
The cost of living didn't explode overnight. It increased slowly enough that people adjusted before they ever questioned it. This is how financial pressure actually works. Not through one massive collapse, but through thousands of small, invisible increases. Here's what nobody tells you about compounding. The first years barely feel important, until suddenly they become everything. A credit card charging 22% interest is not just debt. It's a guaranteed financial loss every single year. Money is never just numbers. Eventually, it becomes time, freedom, stress, and the future of the people around you. Most people wait too long to take investing seriously. Not because they're lazy, but because the future always feels far away. Your 40s are not the end of the financial story. They are the last powerful window before time starts becoming expensive. The math becomes brutal after 40, because every delayed year now carries a compounding cost that most people never calculate honestly. Financial leaks rarely look dangerous in the moment. That's why they survive for years, without ever being questioned. Discipline is unreliable, but automation quietly works every single month, even when motivation disappears completely. Wealth rarely changes all at once. It changes quietly through systems repeating correctly for long enough. That's the hidden part most people miss. Financial peace doesn't come from luxury. Our budget is finally balanced.
And we're saving for the future.
It comes from finally feeling like your future is moving in the right direction. By your 40s, your experience becomes valuable in a different way. The market will often pay for knowledge, long before it pays for effort.
A second income stream changes everything financially. Because once your lifestyle is already funded, extra income becomes pure investment fuel. Freedom doesn't arrive in one dramatic moment. It arrives quietly, when your systems finally begin working for you instead of against you.
Compounding feels invisible in the beginning. That's why most people underestimate it, right before it becomes unbelievably powerful. Lifestyle inflation doesn't feel dangerous. It feels normal until your future slowly becomes too expensive to afford. More income without structure changes nothing, because financial chaos simply expands to fill whatever money enters your life.
Willpower eventually runs out. But systems continue operating quietly, even on the days you feel completely exhausted. The people who become financially free usually change their systems first, and their results later.
The first sign of financial progress isn't usually more money. It's less anxiety.
Experience becomes valuable when you finally understand the patterns. So it's about recognizing those patterns? Most financial mistakes repeat themselves across generations. I see. Automation helps break the cycle.
Your knowledge can become an income stream. And unlike a salary, it can continue growing without trading more time.
Automation changes behavior permanently because good financial decisions stop depending on your mood that day.
Financial freedom isn't built through intensity. It's built through consistent behavior, repeating quietly for years.
The goal was never to look wealthy. It was to build a life where money stopped controlling every decision.
Nothing around him changed overnight. The job stayed the same, but his relationship with money completely changed.
Wealth feels invisible while it's growing slowly. Then one day, look at this, it's really happening.
We're finally stable.
The progress becomes impossible to ignore. By your 40s, your greatest asset is no longer energy. It's accumulated experience. And experience can become extremely valuable.
The future rarely changes dramatically. It changes quietly through behavior repeated long enough to become permanent.
Most people spend decades chasing bigger paychecks. But real financial freedom usually begins when behavior finally becomes intentional.
Compounding feels painfully slow in the beginning. Then suddenly,
it starts moving faster than you ever expected. The greatest luxury isn't expensive things. It's the ability to think about the future without fear sitting in the background. I'd love to travel more.
Me too.
Financial wisdom usually arrives late. But once you understand the mechanics, you start seeing the entire system differently.
your habits quietly build your future every single day. Whether you notice it or not, the system is always compounding something.
At some point, money stops feeling chaotic. Not because life becomes perfect, but because your system finally becomes predictable.
The world didn't change, but Luke did. And that changed how he experienced everything around him.
True financial progress isn't just about money. It's about control over your time and how freely you can use it. When your income is no longer tied to one place, your life starts expanding in ways you didn't expect. Money stops being the center of life. And when that happens, everything else becomes clearer. The past doesn't matter as much as people think. What matters is whether you learn and change the system moving forward.
Freedom doesn't announce itself loudly. It appears quietly, when pressure no longer controls your decisions.
Once survival stops being the focus, you finally start designing life instead of escaping it.
Most people think change is dramatic, but real transformation is just repetition done differently. Wealth was never about money alone. It was about building systems that quietly give you your life back.